Hello, I'm Chris474, and today we're starting on Play Novel Silent Hill for the Game Boy Advance. This game was released only in Japan and I believe Europe, but never the United States. It is basically a visual novel version of Silent Hill for the Game Boy Advance. And it looks interesting. Look at that. Cutscenes! I believe that's footage from the actual PS1 version, but I'm not sure. I've only briefly tried out Silent Hill like years ago, like at like a video game store. Because I used to go to this place called when I was younger, called Video Game Exchange. They had this on a they always had some TVs with a couple of systems, a couple of TVs. There's a system hooked up into each one where you could try out whatever game they were showcasing. So that's the only time I played Silent Hill. But I figured this would be a great way to kind of get into Silent Hill. So let's go ahead and let's can't really do anything with that. Don't have any of the cards. Harry, introducing the beginning of the nightmare in a while. Wait. Oh, introduction, the beginning of the nightmare. Delete data, yes. So there's gonna be a lot of reading in this. I mean, there's no music right here. Let me think of a Harry Mason voice. Harry Mason, not Perry Mason. It's been a while since I have taken a vacation. I'm driving my Jeep, heading towards the quiet resort town of Silent Hill. The sound of the engine reverberates in the darkness. Due to some slight car trouble earlier, it had become this late. I am Harry Mason. I am a run-of-the-mill writer. Her eyes closed. Cheryl sleeps peacefully in the passenger seat. Cheryl is my daughter. She is cheerful and lively. And what is that title on there? On that whatever book or whatever she's holding. I don't know. It's so pixelated. You can't really tell. And the occasional carefree smiles she shows me makes me feel happy. I don't have very many relationships with people because of what I do for a living. So Cheryl's become so so Cheryl's existence has ugh can't read today. So Cheryl's existence has become irreplaceable to me. Cheryl was very much looking forward to this trip. Although paved, this is still very much a mountain road. At this hour, there's little reason for any other drivers to be about. I push in the accelerator, and there is no light off in the darkness. I can depend only on my headlights. Light reflects off the rear view mirror. It's a motorcycle. There's a motorcycle headed towards the same direction as we. There's a mo- there is a motorcycle headed towards the same direction as we are at terrific speed at this late hour. With a roar, the motorcycle effortlessly passes by the side of my Jeep. The seal of the police. Perhaps there has been an accident or something. But I don't recall hearing about an accident or anything on the radio. Cheryl is sleeping. A child should not be awake at this hour. I'm. I wonder if she is dreaming about something. Tomorrow I plan to take her to the amusement park. Maybe she is dreaming about riding the merry-go-round. I glance over at Cheryl's sleeping face and then return my eyes forward. The lighted area of the road almost appears to be ble- belched out from the darkness as it moves towards me. Huh? And something enters my field of view. It's the motorcycle from just before. It is lying on its side on the shoulder of the road, no doubt about it. It's the same motorcycle that just passed me. There is no sign of the driver. It looks like the driver smashed into the surface of the rocks by the side of the road while trying to avoid some kind of obstacle, and thus that part of the motorcycle has been destroyed. I carefully check the way in which the vehicle is headed. However, I don't see anything that could be an obstacle to my advance in the area illuminated by the headlights. A strange atmosphere creeps in around me. The radio reception begins to become erratic. Perhaps I should turn back. But my foot persistently pushes down the accelerator with no intention of letting off. No longer turn back now. Something murmurs within me. Please increase your speed some more, someone murmurs within me. Cheryl's eyes are closed. She is dreaming. I know that I should be awake. But what is this uneasy feeling? I feel as if my body is not totally my own. It's like some strange being that is not me, is controlling me, like I am floating. My eyelids are heavy. As the steering wheel leaves my hand, it creates the illusion of setting the course of its own. Freezing cold, uneasiness, almost like being ready to fall asleep. I'm just barely conscious, and now at my limit to maintain even that. When I saw the human figure on the road, I cut the wheel hard, and then there was nowhere else for my Jeep to go, and I to go for and then there was nowhere else for my Jeep and I to go but down into the darkness below the cliff. The silence pierces my ears. As the wind blew, it was accompanied by piercing cold. Where am I? I can feel light faintly passing through my eyelids. I don't seem to be hurt. That much is clear to me because I don't feel any pain in my body. No, perhaps I've suffered an injury that doesn't cause any pain. I slowly try opening my heavy eyelids. Out of season snow is pouring into the town. Other than the sound of droplets of ice hitting the ground, there's nothing else to be heard. Silent Hill. That is what is assuredly written on the sign by the side of the road. Without realizing it, Cheryl and I have reached our destination. All my memories up to that point are gone. The wind is blowing in. When I take a look next to me, I am shocked. The passenger door has been left open. Cheryl is nowhere to be seen. Silent Hill, this town, which should just be a resort area, appears to become just like a ghost town for some reason, or maybe it was waiting for us to arrive, or perhaps the town just nestled up to us. So now I am alone. Cheryl is not here. While I was sleeping, no, while I was knocked out, Cheryl opened the passenger door and stepped out alone into this tourist spot that is ruled by an unsettling silence. And then she left me to head somewhere. I tightly closed my jacket around my neck and set off on foot in search of Cheryl. I wonder what in the world happened here. Nothing makes any sense. The silence, the out-of-season snow, And strangest of all, the entire town is wrapped in a thick fog. Our first choice. Of course, if I was streaming this, I'd give people the option to select A or B. Let's let's wait. Can we wait? Let's see if 8-ball works. 8-ball. 8-ball. Should we pick A or B? Oh. Oh, wait, never mind. Eight ball. 8-ball. Should we pick choice A? Magic 8-ball says that's like totally a yes, duh. Okay. A we go. I begin to run. Only the sounds of my footsteps echo in the surroundings. Just where in the world? Oh, I should. We may or may not do multiple playthroughs of this to see all the different endings. Choice one, we picked A. We're gonna I hope there are achievements for this game. Let me check to see if I need to see if they're actually working. Because sometimes you gotta. Okay. Okay. Good, because sometimes you have to re-enter the password for retro achievements and retro arts just to make sure that. Otherwise, because sometimes after a while they stop working. I begin to run. Only the sounds of my footsteps echo in the surroundings. Just where in the world has Cheryl gone? Did someone lead her away? Various concerns run through my mind. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Onomatopoeia for footsteps. I suddenly get the feeling that I heard footsteps other than my own, so I stop moving right away to check it out. Through this thick fog, I can see a figure that is about the size of a child, Cheryl. Without a thought, I cry out. The figure doesn't move at all. At the moment, I begin to move slowly towards the figure. It starts to run. I fiercely chase after the figure. That's definitely Cheryl, even though it is faint. I would not mistake someone else for Cheryl. However, no matter how much I run, I cannot catch up. Instead, the figure is gradually getting farther away from me. The figure puts on speed as if it is gliding through the air. The figure appears to be absorbed by the fog as it begins to disappear. In order not to lose it, I run with all my strength while keeping my vision centered on the figure. I then notice that I have come to an alley surrounded by buildings. I don't know how, but it is like a cover was placed over the sky, which has provided light until now, and the area has become engulfed in darkness. Uh-oh. From the darkness, I can hear multiple footsteps coming this way. I don't know who it is. I will take a look. I don't know if any of these options I don't know if any of these options will get us killed. Option 2. Let's see. Eight ball. Should we pick option B? Magic 8 Ball says perhaps. Well, let's eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If it hollers, let it go. Okay, let's go with option A. I stood ready. What are they? With beast like rays, they have closed in to right where I am. Ah! And then my vitality is sucked away by these strangely shaped monsters until I finally lose consciousness. Did I die? Sybil Bennett. She is a full-time police officer working in the neighboring town of Brahms. There was no one else in the cafe other than her and Harry. She took a seat at the counter and waited for Harry to awaken. I suddenly awoke. Where is this place? Why am I here? Was I brought here by someone? There is no boundary between dream and reality, just confusion. As I lay on the bench seat in the cafe, my eyes slowly begin to focus. The woman sitting at the counter stands and folds her arms. She walks over and looks down at me. She is wearing a police uniform. The woman smiles a little bit, as she appears to be relieved that I have regained consciousness. It looks like you have come around. Who are you? I tried talking to the unfamiliar woman. I'm Sybil Bennett. I'm here because all communication with this town suddenly went dead, and so I came to investigate. I'm Harry Mason. I brought my daughter to this town for some sightseeing, but on the way there was an accident, and I lost consciousness. Oh yeah, Sybil? You haven't seen a little girl in this town, have you? A little girl? No, I haven't seen her. When I came to after the accident, my daughter was nowhere to be seen. The passenger door was open, and she was gone. Cheryl, sorry, my daughter's name is Cheryl. She is a timid person, so it is hard to imagine that she headed out into this weird town alone. Plus, I was there in the driver's seat, and since she gave me no warning, it just doesn't make sense. Are you familiar with this area? There's no sign of anyone. And what is going on with the snow at this time of year? Just what in the world has happened in this town? I said all this while breathing deeply. I'm afraid I don't know either. I still haven't seen anyone other than you. It's like the town is as silent as a graveyard. Or as a hill. Left without even the means to contact any neighboring towns. I see. You also had an accident, right? I thought it was a good idea to head to the police station in this town alone on my motorcycle. But I guess I was going a little too fast. Girl suddenly jumped out into the road. I'm pretty sure it was a girl. I almost hit her. I cut the handlebars hard in order to avoid her. After that, I can barely remember anything. When I came to, I was lying in the street in front of this cafe. So naturally, I came in here to get out of the snow, then found you sleeping there. I was having some kind of terrible dream, as for if I made it here on my own. Don't remember at all. Just what in the world has happened in this town? What is going on with everything? Well, the situation is definitely strange. I will head back to Brahms for reinforcements, and then return here. How about you? Sybil stood and fixed her collar with resolute fortitude. Got to look for Cheryl. There is no way I can just leave her here alone. I see. Well, I'll give you this then. You never know what might happen under these circumstances. If you feel threatened, then pull the trigger without hesitating. I take the gun into my hand. That's option 3. Yeah, let's go all A's this run. Let's go for straight A's. All A's. Called the play novel Silent Hill, all A's run. Having never handled a handgun before, I am surprised by how heavy it is. But will you be alright? It's not like the average girls around here have undergone proper training. Sybil placed her hand on the exit door, but then she turns and faces me again. Harry, don't go shooting me by mistake or anything. I haven't had any training on how to stop bullets. She smiled after saying this and then disappeared into the thick fog. After being left alone in the cafe, I gazed at the handgun Sybil gave me for a little while, and then I thought about Cheryl, who had disappeared in this town. The figure I saw in the fog, that was definitely Cheryl, but she didn't answer my calls, and she was quite possibly moving away from me. I don't understand. I'm getting a bit mixed up. Still, the one thing I know for sure is that Cheryl has vanished in this town. All I can do is look for her. I may not have any knowledge of the surroundings or any clues. But I won't find Cheryl if I stay here. I stood up energetically and placed my hand on the cafe door. What is it? GGG, GG, GGG. Something's making noise. GGGG, GGGG, GG. What is that noise? A again. It's somewhere inside the cafe. I look around the cafe. I walk in the direction the noise is coming from, and then I pick up the source of the noise. Radio? At that moment, the window glass shattered. Oh, that was... Shoot. That was option 4, right? Shoot. I don't remember. At that moment, the window glass shattered with a thunder, and a giant bird-like creature flew into the cafe. No, it is not a bird. It is a creature with reddish-brown skin that looks as if it has been burned. In its belligerent pale green eyes, it is clear that my life is in danger. Oh, now we got... Oh. Oh. So I know all the choices affect the outcome of the end, which ending you get, but I don't know if any of the I don't know if there's any options you can choose that end in a game over. Well, let's okay, actually let's go with B this time. Damn. I firmly held the handgun that I just received, quickly pointed it at the creature and pulled the trigger. I'm not used to using guns, so some of my shots hit the ceiling. Did he shoot it in the crotch? That's where I saw the blood come from. I limit my aim. I got a feeling there's gonna be a lot of choices. It's spot. Now let's go A again. That's it. I must set my aim. Its body, when it spreads its wings, at that moment, when its body is undefended, I will. It swings its large arm-like wing down at me, and using that weapon, it just misses my neck. This is my chance. The target is its body. Mumbling, I tell myself that. However, I can't fix my aim very well. My hands are shaking. As my third shot pierces it, it finally lost its life force and fell to the floor like a rag. What the hell? This is not a dream. What's happening to this place? Only the sound of my fist hitting the table echoes in the cafe. At my feet, the still warm corpse of the creature lies in the center of a pool of oddly colored liquid. After leaving the cafe, I decide to head first towards that alley from before. Black figures fly about in the heavens as if searching for prey. I then come to realize a constant. The static on the radio changes based on their movements. The closer the monsters come to me, the louder the static gets. My sight is hindered by the fog, and on top of that, the weather is so bad that snow is falling, so this is extremely important information. I run through the snow that appears to have no intention of stopping, increasing my speed each time the static comes in on the radio. I proceed into the fog. Following the thin thread of my memory, I finally arrive at the alley from before. The evil atmosphere has dissipated and light pours in, along with snow from in between the buildings. I move into the alley and it dead ends after a bit. At the end of the alley, I see a familiar sketchbook. It appears to have been thrown away, and the likeness of me that Cheryl drew is on the cover of the sketchbook. This is definitely Cheryl's. Sketchbook opens. I try opening it. Inside the following is written in red ink. To school. Along Levin Street, I slip through the back door of a house that had a doghouse, then head for the school. The surroundings gradually fill with darkness, and only the flashlight on my chest illuminates the strange street. I pass through the entrance to the elementary school grounds. When I open the door that leads into the school building, I see that even more darkness is waiting for me inside. It is possible that Cheryl scribbled those letters to school. I can't be sure whether Cheryl is here or not. It's just that I haven't a clue other than that sketchbook. A guide map of the school has been tacked to the side wall of the entrance with a rusted thumbtack. After removing the map from the wall, I place it in my pocket and push open the heavy door that leads into the interior of the school building. My footsteps and the creaking of the hallway, they sound like screams as their reverberations rock my eardrums. I had been walking carefully step by step, but without realizing it, I had begun to run. There is no sign of anyone. The silent innards of the school building are dark, and with only the flashlight on my chest, it is impossible for me to see any of the details. Cheryl doesn't have a flashlight, so if she came in here and got lost, then she probably wouldn't even be able to walk around. Since I have my flashlight turned on, she should be able to notice me easily. At least I have that modest hope. I then noticed that I've come to the entrance to the music room. I place my hand on the heavy door. When I open the door, I see that the inside of the room is large and there is a grand piano placed in the center. As I sit on the chair of the piano, I am shocked. The seat is still warm, as if someone had been sitting here just a few minutes before. Cheryl's smile runs through the back of my mind. Cheryl often played the cheap upright piano in our home. It had become nice background music when I was working. Perhaps Cheryl had come to the music room. I gently opened the cover of the piano keys. I noticed that there was red mixed in among the black and white. I tried touching the liquid. It has a lukewarm feel. It is still holding heat. It is definitely blood. Hope this isn't Chris's blood. Hope this isn't Cheryl's blood. Sorry. My heart pounding in my chest like an alarm bell. A large amount of blood spilled on the keys. If this is Cheryl's blood, then she may no longer be alive. I wipe the stain off my hands onto my jeans, stand, and leave the music room. At the same time I closed the door, I thought I heard someone scream. Maybe it was just my imagination. I walk down the hallway. The sleety mixture of snow pounds hard against the windows facing the courtyard. I take a look through a window down to the dark courtyard. The not-so-large courtyard is dotted with areas in which withered plants are growing. In addition to that, an old clock tower is faintly visible. From here, I cannot determine what time the clock is pointing to. Wait. Something appears to be wriggling about in the darkness. An animal? No, it's dark and I can't see so well. But it's slowly moving on two legs. It appears to be searching for prey. G. At that moment, the radio I had clipped to my chest suddenly began making noise. As I returned my sight to the hallway, a sharp pain runs through my thigh. When I look down, I see the tips of those long claws are piercing my thigh. Those oddly shaped monsters. They are posed like they want to hug me and have it gathered around my waist. They are about to bite me. That's option 7. Um, Even though this is a visual novel, I don't know if I can run out of ammo. So let's go with A. What could possibly go wrong? Instantly push the monster away with my hands. With my right hand, I push on its head part with force and knock it away. It then totters and falls down on its face. It was when I noticed that I had been completely surrounded by those monsters. I readied the gun. I fixed my aim on their heads and pulled the trigger with my trembling index finger. I continue to shoot it as each one of them appears. The smoke from the gunpowder began to fill the air around me, so I placed one hand over my mouth. Even after the noise from the radio had stopped, I could only stand there, paralyzed in utter amazement among their corpses. Is Cheryl alright? She shouldn't have been carrying anything that could be used as a weapon. Wait. She shouldn't have been? Or she couldn't have been? I begin running. I can't just stand around. There is not a moment to lose. Cheryl is waiting for me. Wait a minute. Suddenly my vision became hazy or something, and I rubbed my eyes. When I look back, I see that all the bodies of the monsters had unexpectedly vanished. What? Was I hallucinating or something? Dot 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 dot. I pull the guide map out of my inner pocket and shine the flashlight on it. And then I confirm that there is a boiler room located in the basement. My feet naturally begin to take me there. I descend the stairs to the basement, taking one step at a time. A school building without light. As I move forward, I am beset on all sides by absolute darkness. As I head towards new fear and new enemies, my feet have no intention of stopping their advance. But oddly enough, I don't have a sense of justice. I just want to make sure that Cheryl is safe, to catch her in my arms. That is my only goal. The boiler is not running. If I simply press the switch in front of me, then this eerie machine should begin operating. However, I just stand still. I try pushing the switch, but the boiler doesn't do anything at all. So I try opening the switchboard cover below the switch. It appears that I must somehow supply power from the main power supply to the boiler. The power supply is on the right. From the left of the switchboard, a thick pipe extends out and is connected to the boiler. Oh? Oh, I didn't know there was going to be puzzles. What? I guess that wasn't right. Was that it? Got it. Second try. I have an instinctive feeling that by pushing this switch, that something outrageous may happen. Wait, I assume that puzzle's in the very first one. Or in the PS1 version. I mean, I don't know. I have an instinctive feeling that by pushing this switch, something outrageous may happen. Although at the same time, I also notice my daughter Cheryl's scream run through my heart. like a sense of duty that makes me feel that I must push the switch. I slowly push the switch in. The entire school building shudders as if it were a giant ship. The entire elementary school building appears as if it has been swallowed by Cheryl's heart as she stands alone in the darkness. I understand that I must do something. To the courtyard, the darkness softly whispers to me. The clock tower looks to be about tall enough to reach the third floor of the school. At its base, there's a small door about big enough for an adult to enter while bent down. The door is solemnly open. After opening, the door seems to beckon the one standing in front of it to enter with an irresistible mental energy. I cannot resist that power. As I enter, the door closes with a hopeless thunder. Inside the clock tower, a physiologically loathsome stench hung in the air. However, the smile of my beloved daughter in my heart lessens my uneasiness and lets me forget my fear, if even for only a moment. Reassured, I place my foot on a ladder leading underground, with my greatest motive called love. Then the inside finally became a small passage about large enough for a human, or an adult. I run, trusting that I will see her smile ahead. I run forward, stomping on concrete stained with the smell of death. Once I climb the ladder at the end of the tunnel, there will be no going back. I mutter Cheryl's name one last time. The depressing sound of the door closing echoes throughout the courtyard. Where am I? A raw, warm breeze brushes past my cheeks. The view lets me know that this is like a completely different world from the school I was just in. Once again, I think, where am I? I descend the small stairs leading away from the clock tower and become even more convinced. An extremely religious-looking design has been drawn in the center of the courtyard. Within a large double circle, a triangle has been placed, and within that, a strange pattern that looks like hieroglyphics is drawn. I don't remember this being here before. I mutter. This is definitely the school I was just in. The placement of the trees and the construction of the building. However, an overpowering feeling of nausea rises up throughout my body. A revolting, horrible smell, like that of the stench of cutting into rotten meat, thickly wafts throughout the air and is nearly visible to the eye. I begin to run. I can no longer bear to stay in the spot. By the time I place my hands on the door that leads inside the school building, I no longer have the strength left to tell how long I was running. Maybe it was only for an instant. The school building has dramatically changed. Metal grated floors, blood-covered walls, corpse-like puppets hanging everywhere. It's like a nightmare sheen in which everything is isolated from the real world. In spite of that, I run. I'm searching for Cheryl. The unpleasant metallic sounds of my footsteps resonate throughout the inside of the school. And then I open the door to the teacher's room. Perhaps the door is not installed correctly, as it took me several forceful tries to force it open. Once I enter the room, I am shocked. Desks are strewn about, and a raw, rotten stench rules the room. That's option 8. We'll go with A on this. We won't do the 8-ball thing. We'll just with slight hope, I pick up the telephone receiver, just as I had guessed. The depressing busy signal just repeats over and over. As I gently hang up the telephone receiver, I realize that all means for contacting the outside world have already been lost. I must find Cheryl right away and escape from this insane world with her. I begin to leave the room. Jirr, jirr, jirr. My heart rapidly contracts. The mechanical bell sound echoes throughout the room. I nervously approach the telephone and once again pick up the receiver. Daddy? Help me! It's Cheryl. There is no mistaking it. I firmly press the receiver against my ear. Daddy, where are you? Cheryl? Is this Cheryl? At that moment, Cheryl's voice was replaced with a busy signal. I knew it, I think. Cheryl's here. Being located in the residential area, many children probably come to this school. The interior of the elementary school is larger than I imagined, including classrooms. There are a lot of rooms, so locating Cheryl will be extremely difficult. If Cheryl wasn't brought here by someone and instead came here of her own free will, then perhaps she might be in that one room. I spin around, run to the stairs at the end of the hall, and then sprint up them. I've come to the library and my eyes are drawn to the open book here. It was... So far we've chosen 8 A's and 1 B. A children's book. I pick up the book and see an abstract illustration of a youth carrying a bow and arrow on its cover. Someone has been reading this book. I begin to read the book from the beginning of the page. It was left open, too, in a quiet voice. Hearing this, a hunter armed with bow and arrow said, I will kill the lizard. But upon meeting his opponent, he held back, taunting, Who's afraid of a reptile? At this time, the furious lizard hissed, I'll swallow you up in a single bite. Then the huge creature attacked, jaws open wide. This was what the man wanted. Calmly drawing his bow, he shot into the lizard's gaping mouth. Effortlessly, the arrow flew, piercing the defenseless maw, and the lizard fell down, dead. This is from an old fairy tale I remembered reading as a kid. As I say this, I take a step back, as if I have realized something. Wait, I think. I become gripped with the sense that my actions have been controlled by someone this entire time. Coming to the library, seeing that specific page in the open book, even whatever it is that I must do now, it is a decision that is out of my hands. Everything that has happened has been in someone's hands. I have gradually come to understand this, even though still I probably cannot determine my own course. I accept the direction of the unseen one, to whom I must obey. In order to find Cheryl, there is no other alternative. I now know where it is I need to go. Actually, I think that's a good stopping point for this episode. It's been almost 50 minutes, and I want there to be at least a few episodes of this. So I'm enjoying this so far. So thank you everyone who watches this. Have a good day. I'm Chris474, and I'll see you in the next episode whenever this episode is uploaded to YouTube, which will be sometime in October. Today's the 3rd, so I've still got at the time of this, I still got more Shining Force episodes to upload, so this won't be right away. But bye. Thank you. Have a good day, and I'll see you around.